students, today we are going to deal with the topic project proposal from the unit project planning. A plan or suggestion, especially a written one, put forward for consideration or discussion by others. A project proposal is a request for financial assistance to implement a project. The project outlines the plan of the implementing organization about the project, giving extensive information about the intention for implementing it, the ways to manage it, and the results to be delivered from it. A project proposal is a detailed description of a series of activities aimed at solving a certain problem. In order to be successful, the document should provide a logical presentation of a research idea, illustrate the significance of the idea, show the idea's relationship to past actions, articulate the activities for the proposed project. A winning project proposal is the one that typically meets the donor's objectives and needs of the society at large. And finally, a project proposal that will win a grant would be innovative. It would explore new areas of research and would try to discover new techniques or knowledge. The project results, when adopted on a large scale, would make the world a safer place to live and would aid in sustainable development. Designing a project is a process consisting of two elements which are equally important and thus essential to form a solid project proposal. Firstly, project planning, that is, formulation of project elements. Second, proposal writing, converting the plan into a project document. Designing is a creative activity. Think of fashion designers or interior decorators who design clothes or decorate homes. They take simple things like fabric or steel or plastic and using colors create things that are attractive, useful and a pleasure to live with. Designing a project is equally creative, selecting inputs and managing them in a certain way to achieve objectives. Key concepts in project design. A goal is an overarching target or reason for something. For example, identifying poverty alleviation and protection of the environment are very large goals. If the goal is more specific, it becomes much easier to measure. All goals have something to do with making something better, improving something, or preventing something bad from happening. Moving on to objective. An objective is simpler and more specific than a goal. Goal may be improving health. For this goal, the objective which contributes to the goal may be to do daily exercise. So, objectives contribute to goals but alone do not achieve goals. Just as a project is a part of a program, an objective is part of a goal. Project objectives should correspond to a core problem. It should define the strategy to overcome the problem and contribute to the achievement of higher level development goals. When formulating objectives, keep in mind that objectives should be SMART. This stands for specific, measurable, achievements, realistic, time-bound. Each objective should specify the quantity of achievement. For example, number of beneficiaries, number of new varieties developed, etc. and also the quality, example, poor rural women or farmers, high yielding varieties, etc. Objectives should also include an indication of when the objective will be achieved. For example, 3 years after the start of the project. The three words may be kept in mind: quality, quantity and time. If objectives are achieved, that is the project output or result, in research projects the output may be tangible like a new crop variety or a new type of farm equipment or a new vaccine, or invisible like weight reduction due to daily exercise. However, in all cases the output of the project should be directly related to the project objectives. Outputs may include events such as workshops or harvest, intangible things like decisions, tangible things like new building and new facilities, information, perhaps in the form of publication or videos. It is worth spending time with colleagues, partners and friends brainstorming all the possible spin-off outputs as well as those directly related to the objectives. Output is something new in the sense that it was not there before. Project impact is the expected benefit to the beneficiaries. The output alone cannot achieve the goal of the project, but it will continue towards the goal by contributing to the project's impact. If daily exercises are done, health will soon improve. Of course, daily exercises alone will not make a person healthy if he or she is eating too much or drinking too much or smoking too much, but daily exercises will help to a certain extent. Brainstorm this section with the design team or other colleagues. Think of all the possible groups who may benefit from project activities and as many different benefits as may occur. Impact is what the donor is buying. In making promises about the impact of a project, you need to describe the expected benefits, how many of them can be expected and when and where they will occur. Reasons for the expected benefit to accrue to a given group. If necessary, state the assumptions. Consider whether to suggest that the project will have either an impact assessment component or will be assessed by a separate impact measurement project. Understanding the principles of project development can help you to become a good project designer. Firstly, project design is both an art and a science. The art is using imagination to envisage the future, to fantasize about what activities can help to improve the lives of others and to write persuasively and well. The science is to employ logic in the design of the project. Everyone can help these artistic and scientific skills. As with other endeavors, practice makes perfect. Secondly, project design is a group exercise. Project design is not a solitary activity. Always, a team will do better than an individual. A team of people from different backgrounds will usually do better than a team of people with the same attitudes. In the business of agricultural research, it's been found that a team or a consortium that includes partners and beneficiaries, people from all sorts of discipline, ages and backgrounds designing together in a true spirit of collaboration yields the most successful projects of all. Thirdly, project design takes time. Developing a relatively simple and small project can make the main designer in anywhere from 50 to 150 hours of quality time spread over several months. Complex projects involving multiple partners and sometimes multiple donors will take much longer time. Small budget projects often take almost as long to design as larger ones. For this reason, there may be many advantages to thinking big. However, big grants that need to be approved at a donor headquarters may take longer to get approved. In addition to the time for thinking and writing, you need to add the time spent for waiting. Even when a donor likes a project, there is more to be done. Few projects are funded as submitted. Most require revision based on donors' comments. Patience and persistence are essential project writing skills. Fourthly, be prepared for failure. One should not expect to win every project proposal submitted. If competing for funds, it is clear that not all submission can be funded. Fifth, partners are important. Almost all research projects nowadays involve collaboration among different stakeholders and colleague groups. There are some special points about partnerships to remember when studying to be a good project designer. Donors, like other investors, prefer to share and spread risks. They like to fund projects that have attached support from others. Further, donors prefer projects with multiple partners. There is no doubt that projects designed and implemented by partners or a consortium are the pattern of the day and also future. Sixth, recognize the towards holistic thinking. For example, several of the UN organizations were created in an effort to integrate approaches or see things holistically. A more recent example is the establishment of global entities to coordinate the sectors concerned with water, including sanitation and supply, irrigation, environment and industry. When reviewing project proposals today, donors will look favorably at projects that adopt integrated approach and involves all the participants and is thus likely to contribute to significant impacts in the shortest possible time. Seventh, demonstrating impact is essential. In this competitive scene, project outputs alone can no longer sell projects. Today, donors are looking for projects that show positive impacts on problems like poverty, malnutrition, ill health, population migration, and environmental degradation. What is more, donors are looking for impacts that can be demonstrated quickly, ideally during the project itself. Impact assessment is harder than measuring the number of people trained, miles of road built, seedlings distributed, and tons produced. There are lots of difficulties in assessing the impact. Eighth, packaging is what it is all about. In packing research problems into projects, designers need to consider the issues already mentioned, the importance of partners and impact, the need for patience and persistence, and need to understand the self-interest of the donors they are writing to. All this makes up the art of selling the project, and that is what happens when an attempt is made to write a proposal. The project proposal should be detailed and directed manifestation of the project design. It is a means of presenting the project to the outside world in a format that is immediately recognized and accepted. A full proposal should have the parts, that is, title page. A title page should appear on proposals longer than 3 to 4 pages. The title page should indicate the project title, the name of the lead organization and potential partners if any, the place and date of project preparation and the name of the donor agency to whom the proposal is addressed. Project title. The project title should be short, concise and preferably refer to a certain key project result or the leading project activity. Project titles that are too long or too general fail to give the reader an effective snapshot of what is inside. Selecting a good title. Title needs to be catchy, informative and distinctive. Try to use a two-part title. The first part should be short, snappy and catchy. The second part can be more serious and informative. Never use words like studies on, investigation on, survey of, effect of, standardization of, etc. in the titles. Many readers lack the time needed to read the whole project proposal. It is therefore useful to insert a short project summary, an abstract or executive summary. The abstract should include the problem statement, the project's objectives, implementing organizations, key project activities and potentially the total project budget. Theoretically, the abstract should be compiled after the relevant items already exist in their long form. For a small project, the abstract may not be long than 10 lines. Bigger projects often provide abstracts as long as 2 pages. This part of the project describes the social, economic, political and cultural background from which the project is initiated. It should contain relevant data from research carried out in the project planning phase or collected from other sources. A rationale should be provided for the project. Due to its importance, this section is sometimes divided into 4 or more subsections. Problem statement. The problem statement provides a description of the specific problem or problems the project is trying to solve in order to make a case for the project. Furthermore, the project proposal should point out why a certain issue is a problem for the community or society as a whole, that is, what negative implications affect the target group. There should also be an explanation of the needs of the project group that appear as a direct consequence of the described problem. Priority needs. The needs of the target group that have arisen as a direct negative impact of the problem should be prioritized. An explanation as to how this decision was reached must also be included. The proposed approach or type of intervention. The project proposal should describe the strategy chosen for solving the problem and precisely how it will lead to improvement. The implementing organization. This section should describe the capabilities of your organization by referring to its capacity and previous project record. Describe why exactly your organization is the most appropriate to run the project, its connection to the local community, the constituency behind the organization, and what kind of expertise the organization can provide. If other partners are involved in implementation, provide some information on their capacity as well. Project aims. This information should be obtained from the log frame matrix, including the project goal, project purpose, and the outputs. Target groups. Define the target group and show how it will benefit from the project. The project should provide a detailed description of the size and characteristics of the target groups and especially of direct project beneficiaries. Project implementation. The implementation plan should describe activities and resource allocation in as much detail as possible. It is exceptionally important to provide a good overview of who is going to implement the project's activities as well as when and where. The implementation plan may be divided into two key elements, the activity plan and the resource plan. The activity plan should include specific information and explanations of each of the planned project activities. The duration of the project should be clearly stated with considerable detail on the beginning and the end of the project. In general, two main formats are used to express the activity plan: a simple table with columns for activities, sub-activities, tasks, timing, and responsibility in a clear and readily understandable format, and the Gantt chart, a universal format for presenting activities in certain time frames, shows the dependence and sequence for each activities. The resource plan should provide information on the means necessary to undertake the project. Cost categories are established at this stage in order to aggregate and summarize the cost information for budgeting. Moving on to budget. An itemized summary of an organization's expected income and expenses over a specified period of time. An estimate of the project cost has to be given by costing of the main project inputs. An allowance for the budget of possible partners and indirect costs also have to be included. Be sure to include and label all project costs. It is very important for all parties to understand the true and full project costs and to avoid hidden subsidies. Monitoring and evaluation. The basis for monitoring is set when the indicators for results are set. The project proposal should indicate how and when the project management team will conduct activities to monitor the project's progress, which methods will be used to monitor and evaluate, and who will do the evaluation. Reporting. The schedule of project progress and financial report could be set in the project proposal. Often these obligations are determined by the standard requirements of the donor agency. The project reports may be compiled in different versions with regard to the audience they are targeting. Management and personnel. A brief description should be given of the project personnel, the individual roles each one has assumed, and the communication mechanisms that exist between them. All the additional information such as curriculum vitae should be attached in the annexure. Now we have come to the end of the unit, project proposal. Any further questions?
Ma'am, I have a question. What is the difference between product management and project management?
Okay, that is a good question. Product management consists of product idea conception to final product launch and after sales support, whereas project management primarily focuses on the development phase. What is project life cycle? Logical phases within a project, Example: requirements, design, coding, testing and maintenance phases in a software project. Hope this answers your question. Any further questions? This brings us to the end of this unit project proposal. Thank you for your patient listening.